What's going on, folks out there on YouTube? This is Kent, back at you guys again with another video. I'm feeling a little down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really in the best of moods today. You know, got rejected. You know what I mean? I got rejected once again by by a different by a different by a different woman, and I don't even know what else to say. You know what I mean? All I can say is that, this is my line that I like to use a lot. All I can say is that it is what it is. There's this female that I've met, you know what I mean? And we've had small talk. We've had small talk, quite a few times and everything. And this time, we actually had a pretty good conversation and everything. And the thing is that, she was a gorgeous looking woman. You know what I mean? She's gorgeous. You know what I mean? I think she's beautiful. You know what I mean? And I told her you look nice today and all that stuff. She's like, oh, thank you, and she smiled and everything. And we had a good conversation here and there. And I told her this. I said, you seem like a cool person, you know what I mean? I said, let me get your phone number so I can, get to know you more. And she had said, no, I have a boyfriend. I said, it's okay. I'm talking about as a friend. Let's talk. I want to get to know you more as a friend. And she's like, no. She was like, no. So I guess, I can't even be her friend. You know what I mean? So, man, I don't even know what else to say, man. I don't even know what else to say. I can't even. She said she didn't even want to be my friend, but the place I was looking at, I had put in a job application to the place where she was working at. You know what I mean. I was going in there to do a follow up. You know what I'm saying. I saw her. You know what I mean. To be honest, it would have been cool if I would have worked with her and everything, but I just asked her phone number so I could, get to know her more as a friend and everything. She's like, oh no, I have a boyfriend, all that stuff, and all I could do was shake my head, man. But what should I call it? And she was all like, and she was I had went to put in the job application, earlier this week, and I had went to I had also went to do a follow up and everything. I had did a follow up, and I, to be honest, I really went in there to look for the manager and everything, to the specific place I was looking at. You know what I mean? Putting the job application, doing a follow up and everything, and and I saw her. I was really looking for the manager, but I saw her. We had a good conversation. I asked her phone number. I asked for her phone number. She's like, oh no, I have a boyfriend. I said, can I at least get your phone number as a friend? She was like, oh no. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh no, and all that stuff. And I just say, well, since the manager is not in, I'll come back another time. And she was all like, well, he'll be in tomorrow and all that stuff. She was very nice, very friendly and everything. And she's like, and I was like, okay, well, I said, well, you have a nice day. She's like, I hope you get the job, and I'll see you later. You know what I mean? I went on and left, went on about my business. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, the fact that she said no, she had a boyfriend and all that stuff, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say is that, you never know until you try. You know what I mean? I went out there, I tried, I put in my bid, but didn't really get any necessary luck. She was like, oh no, I have a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? It's like every it seems is that every woman that I've tried to talk to, they all have ended up saying that they have boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Even the women who are not so attractive, you know what I'm saying? Even they said they have boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what else to say, man. All I can say is it is what it is. But don't get me wrong, you know, at least I tried. You know what I mean? It's better to go find out than knowing whatever happened if you never tried. But I tried, man. And she said she had a boyfriend and everything, and you know, and she said she'll see me later, and she's like, oh, and she said that she hopes I get the job, smiling. I hope I get the job. I don't even think she really meant it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think she really meant it. I think she was just saying that so to make me feel better or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? I tried to be very cool about it. You know what I mean? I tried to do the best I can to act like it didn't bother me or anything. I try to play it off, you know what I mean? But she's like, "Oh, I hope you get the job," you know what I'm saying? And she said, "I'll see you later." You know what I mean? I say, have a nice day, and I went on about my business, you know. It's like all these women got boyfriends, man. And I don't even know what else to say, man. It's just, it is what it is, you know. Every time I try to talk to a woman, they always say they got a boyfriend or they're taken already. You know what I mean? Even the women I try to talk to are not all that attractive, you know what I'm saying? Even they said they have boyfriends. And people want to tell me, oh, you probably approach women that are out of your league. There is no such thing. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not gonna say it anymore anytime soon. There is no such thing as a woman out of my league. You know what I mean? That's stupid. There's no such thing as a woman out of my league. You know what I mean? I mean, if you like somebody, you like somebody. There's no such thing they're in your league or not. You know what I mean? That's a bunch of BS when people say stuff like that. That's just how I feel about it. That's a bunch of BS. But yeah, you know, another rejection. But all I can do is I'm gonna do the best I can to stay strong. You know what I mean? I may feel a little down by now, but there's always a tomorrow. You know, there's always a tomorrow. You know, things can always get better. You know, but right now, man, I'm not really in the best of moods. You know, all I can do is stay strong, man. You know, it is what it is. You know, rejection hurts, man. Rejection hurts. And the fact that I got turned down hurts. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't even on the clock. She was on her break. So I caught her at the right time. So, but I tried, man. All I can do is try. It's just that you really want something. You know what I mean? You get turned down, you get rejected, man. It just knocks you off your feet a little bit. You know what I mean? That's what it does. But you know, I tried to play it off. I tried to play it off. I tried to play it off and act like it didn't even bother me. You know, that's what I really tried to do. And I think that went well when I played it off. But after I was out of her sight, you know, that's when it really hit me. You know what I mean? That's when the rejection really just hit me, man. I mean, I was like, man. You know what I mean? I said that to myself. You know what I mean? When I wasn't her, so I'm like, dang. But and you know, I would have been happy if I, you know, got her phone number and everything. How else am I going to get to know a woman without getting her phone number? That's the point on getting to know a female. You ask for their phone number. You know what I mean? You guys chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Ask them questions. You know what I mean? How else am I gonna get to know her? People want to say, oh, you don't know her, Ken. You don't know her, Ken. Well, I met her. I had met her, you know, a few days ago. You know what I mean? And I try to ask for a phone number so I could get to know her more. You know what I'm saying? Get to know her more, and everything she told me. You know, she had a boyfriend. You know, and I asked her, could we at least be friends? She's like, no. I guess whoever she's with, I guess he don't even want her to have male friends. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me assuming. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but I guess the guy she is with, I guess he don't want her having, you know, female friends. I mean, I didn't know she was taken. You know what I mean? Until I tried. You know, I didn't know she was taken. You know, but now I know. Now I know. I didn't know at the time. You know, if you don't know something, you gotta ask. You gotta ask questions if you don't know something. You know what I mean? I didn't know, and I went and put my bid in. But man, I try to be quote unquote confident. You know what I mean? And people want to say, oh, you gotta be confident, you gotta have confidence. Been there, done that. Didn't work. You know what I mean? You know, I just had to make this video, you know, and just get that off my chest, man. I know there's some of you guys out there that do support me, and I deeply appreciate that, man. I deeply appreciate the people, the real people who do support me, and not people who just want to troll and everything. I mean, nothing else for me to say. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I saying she hope I get the job, but yeah, you don't want to. Saying that she hope I get the job, but yeah, you don't want me to get to know you as a friend. As a friend. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. That's her loss, you know. That's her loss, you know. She missed out on something good, you know what I mean? I mean, nothing else for me to, say about it. That's her loss, not mine. You gotta try to look at it that way. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I pretty much said what I need to say in this video. And rejection hurts, man. Rejection really hurts. It does. But she was smiling and everything. I don't get that. She was smiling at me and stuff, saying what she was saying. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. She was all smiling, all friendly and stuff. I thought maybe I might have a chance, but I guess not. Guess not. But anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll just see y'all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.